Вітаємо! Welcome to the virtual Taras Shevchenko concert brought to you by the UCC branches in Saskatchewan. I am John Denysek, President of UCC SPC, and I want to congratulate the collaborative efforts of Ukrainian branches and Ukrainian organizations under the leadership of UCC Saskatoon and UCC-Regina. As I continue deepening my understanding of my Ukrainian heritage, I wanted to find out why do we still celebrate the life of a Ukrainian poet and artist who died over 150 years ago. So I went to Wikipedia, and this is what they had to say. Taras Shevchenko's writings formed the foundation for modern Ukrainian literature, to a degree that he's also considered the founder of modern written Ukrainian language. Shevchenko's poetry contributed greatly to the growth of the Ukrainian national consciousness, and his influence on various facets of Ukrainian intellectual, literary, and national life are still felt to this day. Influenced by Romanticism, Shevchenko managed to find his own manner of poetic expression that encompassed themes and ideas germane to Ukraine and his personal vision of its past and future. In view of his literary importance, the impact of his artistic work is often missed, although his contemporaries valued his artistic work no less, or perhaps even more, than his literary work. A great number of his pictures, drawings, and etchings preserved to this day testify to his unique artistic talent. His influence on Ukrainian culture has been so immense that even during Soviet times, the official position was to downplay his strong Ukrainian nationalism expressed in his poetry, suppressing any mention of it, and to put emphasis on the class struggle within the Russian Empire. Shevchenko, who himself was born a serf, and suffered tremendously for his political views in opposition to the Russian Empire, was presented in Soviet times as an internationalist who stood up for the general plight of the poor, exploited by the reactionary political regime rather than the vocal proponent of the Ukrainian national idea. This view is significantly revised in modern independent Ukraine, where he is now viewed as the most iconic figure with unmatched significance for the Ukrainian nation, a view that is shared all along by the Ukrainian diaspora that has always revered Shevchenko. Wow! Taras Shevchenko's impact is just as relevant today as it was 150 years ago. His ongoing ability to inspire Ukrainian people all around the world needs to be cherished and celebrated. I hope you enjoy the performances you're about to see. Дуже дякую.
Hello, my name is Zwarych, and I'm the president of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress Regina branch. Taras Shevchenko is the foremost Ukrainian poet of the 19th century and a major figure of the Ukrainian national revival. Born a serf on March 9, 1814, Shevchenko was freed in 1838 while a student at the St. Petersburg Academy of Art. His first collection of poems, entitled Kobzar, expressed the historic and the folkloristic interest of the Ukrainian Romantics. But his poetry soon moved away from nostalgia for Cossack life to a more somber portrayal of Ukrainian history, particularly in the long poem the Hadomaks. Shevchenko was punished by exile and compulsory military service for writing poems, which satirized the oppression of the Ukrainians by Russia and prophesied a revolution. Though forbidden to write or paint, Shevchenko wrote poems during the first years of his exile. He had a revival of creativity after his release. His later poetry treats historical and moral issues, both Ukrainian and universal. This concert is a tribute to the life and times of this great artist, poet, and Ukrainian nationalist. Thank you.
Ми учні першого класу школи владики Filevича. Це наші портрети Тараса Шевченка. We are grade 1 students from Bishop Filevich School, and these are our portraits of Taras Shevchenko.
Moje ім'я Regina Holawachuk.
І моє ім'я Doriana Holawachuk.
Вірш сон. Подивіться на рай тихий, на свою країну. Полюбити щирим серцем велику руїну.
В своїй хаті своя правда, і сила, і воля. Нема на світі України, немає другого Дніпра.
Kyla Bodner. My poem is «І досі сниться». І досі сниться. Під горою між вербами та над водою біленька хаточка. Сидить, неначе і досі себе дід.
Моє ім'я Данило Халадке. Ну, щоб здавалося слова. Ну, щоб здавалося слова. Слова та голос. Більш нічого. А серце б'ється. Ожева, як їх почує. Знят від Бога. І голос той, і ті слова йдуть між люди.